Pepper, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, you might have heard the saying that what you resist persists, and it's very true. It's very catchy, but I just thought I would explain it in a little bit more detail and explain the best options to get yourself out of resistance. So when we encounter something in life that we perceive as negative or not the ideal scenario, we have two options in order to move past it. We can either change it or we can accept it. And it's when we sort of fail to do either that we sit in this state of resistance. We don't like the circumstance and we complain about it and we justify why it's happened and sort of why it isn't our fault that it's happened. All the while that we're doing that, we're just sort of sitting in this state of resisting our reality. And as we struggle against it and we continue to fight against it, we're giving the problem more focus, more of our energy. And that's why it tends to persist. And not only persist, but you tend to then get more of it in other areas of your life or in other ways. Like whether you believe in the law of attraction or whether you sort of understand a little bit about psychology and how the mind works, we do tend to get more of what we focus on. So the more we're focusing on things that we don't want, the more we're resisting things that we don't want, the more we're tending to be drawing them into our lives, which is not ideal. So we have two options. So we can either change the circumstance and the scenarios. So if something is in your control, you can always change it. If it's, a job that you really don't like, if it's the place that you live, if it's something in your home, or if it's a relationship that isn't quite working, you can look at the scenario and look at what control you have to change it and to make it work for you. So it's just a matter of sort of not being on autopilot. It's a matter of checking in with yourself, a bit of self-reflection and saying, this is an issue for me. This is a problem. I'm not happy with it. I need to make a change. You'll realize that as soon as you make that decision to do that, you start to shift your mindset. And when you go from resistance to a mindset of sort of growth and change and action, you'll immediately start to feel better. You'll start to feel more in control and you start to sort of look for creative solutions and you start to have ideas and ways to overcome the problem. And that is so much better than sitting in that negative space and complaining or wishing or, sort of playing a bit of a victim and saying, well, this has happened and, I can't do anything about it. So it's just a reminder that really it's your life and that you're in control and you can always figure a way to change it and to make it better. The other circumstance may be, the other, sort of scenario might be that the circumstance is something that you don't have control over. So maybe it is dependent on somebody else's decisions or somebody else's actions, or you're working in a job where you have to work with a particular co-worker who you just don't get along with, and you can't really just sort of get yourself out of that scenario. You can't really change it. What you can do is accept it. You can say that this is the circumstance I'm in, but how can I react to it in a way that is going to have the least amount of negativity and the least sort of negative effect on my life? In any circumstance that is out of our control, all we can control is the way we react to it. And that is very empowering within itself, because in life, we're not going to be able to control everything. And that's okay, because we can control how we react to everything. Using that scenario of, say, working with someone that you find difficult to work with, what you can do is decide how you want to approach that situation. You can just take a little bit of mindfulness, a bit of self-reflection, understand yourself a little bit more and the triggers that might upset you and might normally cause you to snap or to feel a certain way. You can take control of your emotions. You can take control of your responses. You can decide to come from a place of positivity instead of a place of negativity. You could decide to have a little bit more compassion and understanding and empathy for that person, because perhaps they're going through a situation that is making it really hard for them to be a positive, happy person to interact with. So you could try and just give them some love and some support and change your approach. And that could be the thing that changes your whole relationship with them, that makes everything better. really just remember in life when something comes up that you instinctively want to resist and that you know, ultimately feel it's negative and you don't want it in your life, don't continue to just sort of let it brew away and sit there. Either change it or accept it, and just tackle it head on and just do it. Because the more you do these things with different circumstances in your life, the better you get at doing it all the time. And then the more and more you're creating this life that you want to be living, because it's going to be filled with positivity and growth and, you know, like that feeling of being in control and being empowered, rather than just feeling like everything's happening to me and I don't have the control and I don't like this circumstance, but it's what I'm stuck with. I don't think that's how life should be lived. I think that we should really take accountability and be in charge and, live your best life. So good luck with overcoming resistance. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us. Thanks. Bye.